You're under a lot of pressure in your relationship with your mom. Honestly, you try so hard to accommodate, to be a good person, to be a good daughter, to not rock the boat, but it leaves you really drained and unhappy. It's normal to feel this way when you're not doing what's right for you and when you're auto accommodating, when you're doing what you think will make your mom happy or make other people in your life happy. This is really common for people to do, especially women who've grown up with parents, particularly mothers, who are overbearing, who are overly involved in their child's life. And if you have a mother like this who really always seems to put what she thinks out there. What should you do with your life? Where should you live? What should you study in school? Who should you marry? Should you get married at all? Should you have kids? How many? Like big life decisions, all the way down to the smallest things of what clothes should you wear? What should you do in your spare time? But it permeates your sense of self and it shapes the safety that you feel to be real. And it skews things in a way that isn't actually true, but it forms this belief system that who you are isn't safe, who you are isn't palatable, agreeable, digestible to the people that matter the most in your life, and to the person that you probably most want love and acceptance from, which is your mom. At least at this stage in your life and in childhood. And running with this subconscious belief that who you are is somehow a problem, is somehow flawed, is somehow not enough to just be loved as is. And running with that program really impacts so many decisions that you make and also how you interpret what's going on around you. So someone has a funny look on their face and you automatically think, oh, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm doing something they don't like. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe I should change something. And it becomes this chronic scanning of, am I okay? Are people going to approve of me? And a lot of that comes from those foundational years, which generally people are saying is between 0 and 7 years old. So from birth all the way up to 7 years old are our most formative years. Oftentimes it can feel like you're stuck. It can feel like you don't have the resources to make it through something as difficult as having an overbearing, over-involved, critical mom who wants to get her needs met through you. And that's truly a pressure that, in my experience and in witnessing other people's experiences, is too much for someone to take on and actually be a healthy person, have healthy belief systems that actually go on to serve them for the rest of their lives into adulthood. So the price is high as the daughter of a mother who doesn't teach you to trust yourself. Something that I've grappled with, and even though I've set so many boundaries with my mom and I'm not enmeshed and codependent with her anymore, I don't caretake, I don't have her live in my space, I don't even live in the same country. Not that you have to move completely far away to actually heal this, although I think it can be helpful in some cases. The true change is what you're carrying with you, what you're feeling in your nervous system, in your body, in your cellular memory, and in your belief systems. Like for me, when I moved, so I was born in Toronto, Canada, and I grew up there with my mom, and then in my 20s, I moved to across the country to British Columbia on the West Coast. Beautiful place. But I still, even though I was so far away, it was a 5-hour flight or a 2-day drive without stopping, which I did once. And I don't recommend that. Sleep is necessary. So even though I moved so far away, when I was there, especially when I'd first moved, I was still calling my mom every day. I would have these long video calls with her, at least an hour a day. And it was so challenging and heartbreaking because I was still acting like a caretaker. I was still very, very involved and emotionally invested in how she was doing. I felt responsible for her outcomes, for her emotions, for her behaviors, for things like how she was doing financially, what her health was like. Like, it was too much. And my own self-worth was wrapped up in this belief that I had manufactured that if I could heal my mom, then I was somehow worthwhile, which is really common for codependents. This need to be needed, this need to prove your worth in some way, to validate your existence. Like, you have to be some kind of superhero in order to just be worthy enough to have some kind of value and to be here on this planet. It's like, it's a messed up way of trying to prove that you are okay enough to exist, that you have a purpose here. And when your purpose is wrapped up in your mom's wellness, which is something that you can't ultimately control, you can bring your mom to appointments. You can listen to her when she needs an ear, when she actually needs an ear. That's a whole other story. But you can't make her change her own thoughts. You can't make her do anything she doesn't ultimately want to do. And letting go of that belief that you have control is the same thing she needs to do. When she's coming at you with her own opinions and her own desires, she also needs to let go of that belief that she has control over your life and your outcomes. I wanted to do an unscripted, more raw video today and see how that lands for you. If you like this format, let me know. And if you're resonating with any of the things that I'm saying, please leave a comment. I want to hear about your experiences. What are you finding challenging? Are you more of the caretaker, or are you more of the, oh my gosh, I feel so much pressure to just do what my mom wants so that she leaves me alone? But she doesn't leave you alone. It doesn't work, right? The promise of, if I do this, then this will happen, doesn't work, doesn't pan out. You might get some temporary relief. Maybe she stops hounding you about a particular thing, or she stops speaking about it, at least for a period. But then either that same problem comes back up, or a new problem comes up. If you're resonating with this content, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. It does help the channel grow and reach other women who are struggling too and need the information, need the support, need to feel like they're not the only one, because they're not. And it's great to have a sense of community when you're healing, and then it's great to not be part of that community anymore, to move forward with your life into the next chapter, because this isn't permanent. This doesn't have to be a healing experience for the next 10 plus years of your life. The deepest traumas are healable. There are remedies. There are structures. So I'd like to hear from you. Tell me about your experience. What do you struggle with your mom? Is she the overly involved parent telling you what to do, how to live your life, and you feel pressure to please? Or do you feel the pressure to serve, to be the helper, to be the caretaker, to be the one who is responsible for her feelings? And really, in both situations, you probably feel responsible for her feelings. Or maybe you're like me, where you're both. So let me know in the comments. And also tell me if you think that this conversational style video is helpful. I just finished writing the script for my next video, so I will be posting that soon. No matter what you're going through, I want you to know that there is hope. There is an end, like an actual end to what you're going through. I always thought that, well, I'm just always going to be healing, so this is just my lot in life. And yes, I am always healing, but I'm not always healing the same things. There are things that I have actually overcome, and they aren't problems in my life anymore. And then it's a scale. There are things that are just not a part of my life anymore, and it's amazing. And especially coming from a place where it was all consuming, and it was all day, every day, some leaking of energy or some part of my brain was always reserved for the problem. Thinking about it, thinking of solutions, worrying about it, not wanting to deal with it, what was going to happen, anxiety, all this kind of stuff. And the scale of the problem-solving world is that many things end up just in that category. They're not problems anymore. And then other things are on a gradient, and they are sometimes problems, but they're manageable. They don't take over your life. Sometimes I think about, I wonder how my mom's doing. How's she doing with that problem? And then I go into, maybe I should send her, this piece of information. And I stop myself. I go, no, that's not me anymore. I don't do that. And then there are other things where they are still very much so a part of your daily life, or they're often an issue in your life, and they really feel debilitating. They suck your energy down. They consume a lot of your time, a lot of your thought space, and you don't end up feeling like your vibrant self. They're like a weight or an anchor kind of keeping you down, a backpack full of stuff that you don't need to be carrying around, but you are in that moment. So the gradient of healing, in my experience, is very real. Wherever you are in the scale with your mom, just know that you can tip that scale more towards the done side of it, the healed side, no, I don't have to just circle through the same stuff for the rest of my life, even after my mom has passed on. And that's the thing that a lot of women deal with, even after their mom is gone. The problem is inside them. And that's where we have to go. We got to clean out our internal closets, handle while things are out and they're messy, with the confidence that I'm just cleaning my closet. This isn't forever. And I'm the one who's going to put the things that belong in my life back in my closet so I can use them later. And the things that I don't want, I'm going to get rid of. So I want to leave you with that hope that there is healing, and there is healing to a level that you don't deal with it again. Okay? Straight up. Straight up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found value in this video. If you want more direct help, please leave a comment with a question. I will do my best to answer it. And also, if you want more tailored support, please book a free consultation. It's a 30-minute call, and we'll go over the main things that are going on in your life with your relationship with your mom, how I recommend you go about healing them, and whether working one-on-one with me is the right fit. I really do recommend that you get support in some way, and this is a zero-cost way to see if I'm the right person to help you through that. So the link to book a free call is in the description box below. And if you want more free resources, I also have a free download available in the description box too, called the Guilt-Free Boundary Guide. It's my ebook. It includes really useful tips and descriptions on what the mother wound is, how to start healing that with self-regulation, self-love and self-worth tips. My next video is all about self-worth, so stay tuned for that. And word-for-word scripts and steps, stages of setting boundaries with your mom that you can use when you feel like it's time. and hopefully before you feel like you're fully ready, because it feels overwhelming and scary, and sometimes you just have to do it and let it land, and you will be fine. You will be fine. It's really helpful too if you have a mom who really challenges your boundaries, because oftentimes just saying, oh no thanks, that's not for me, or it doesn't work. It doesn't land with her. She pushes, she guilt trips, she gets aggressive, she gets critical of you. So I also go over what to do when you have a mom who challenges your boundaries. And that's usually the case for people who are watching videos like mine. So I wanted it to be practical and not just generic advice. So thank you again for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Remember that you matter and you can heal and your life can transform. I believe in you. I'll see you next time. Take really good care.